Hi, welcome back to AT Math. Today, 9-5, solving quadratic equations by graphing. Why it's easier than getting in and out of the tub. So our first thing we have here is 2x squared minus 2 equals 0. Remember that equals 0 also means equals y. So I can change this to y equals 2x squared minus 2. From there I can make a table or use what we know. Well, if I make a table, I can just go ahead and drop certain numbers in, -1, 0, 1, and 2, and see what I get. Or, I can say the -2 here is a y-intercept, so I know it's definitely going to go through the -2. I also know, because it's 2x squared, it's going to have a basic shape like this, so I know it's going to go up in a pretty fast fashion. Now I can also do -b over 2a. -b over 2a, and remember, since it was 2x squared minus 2, the a is 2, the c is -2, and there is no b. So a is 2, b is 0, c is -2. -b over 2a therefore is 0 over 2 times 2, or 2 times, actually it should be 2 times 2. Think of it, -b over 2a. But either way, it's still 0. So my axis of symmetry is 0, so it cuts straight through. That means that's the middle, that's the mirror point right there. Now remember to find the vertex, take the axis of symmetry's value in for x. In other words, now that I figured out that the axis is at 0, I'm going to drop that in there. 0 squared, of course, is 0, times 2 is 0. 0 minus 2 equals y. 0 minus 2 is -2, therefore it's going to be 2 down, which, when you think about it, is fairly self-explanatory as it's already on the intercept there. But I digress. So we know the low point is 0, -2. That's what we have. Now at this point we can just pick two x values of equal distance from that vertex. It doesn't matter where, but I'm going to start with -1 and +1 because they're just one away from 0. So I'm going to plug in -1 and +1 in these two different places. -1 squared is 1, 1 times 2 is 2, 2 minus 2 is 0. And 1 squared is 1, 1 times 2 is 2, and 2 minus 2 is also 0. Notice how they reflect each other. They're the same value. So at -1, 0 is a point, and 1, 0 is a point. Notice here how it's starting to come up. Looks like a little robot guy, smile, eyes, and a nose. But actually, what I'm saying is one space, up 2, right space, up 2. Remember, why do the values -1 and +1 have the same y value? Notice how they're exactly the same distance from the vertex. Again, they're mirror images. This is the same as this. Add a couple more x values until you're comfortable to put a curve into it. So again, you can pick whatever values you want. I went ahead and picked -2 and +2, and I plugged them in. And I both got 6 for both. Therefore, when x is -2, the value is 6. When x is +2, the value is 6. Notice how it's the equal reflection, how it's starting to quickly go ahead and go up because it's 2x squared. Now you try, go ahead. X squared minus 4 equals 0. Graph your answer, but use whatever method you want. You can make a table and plug in numbers. You can go ahead and find the axis of symmetry, intercepts, whatever the case is. Go ahead. And what I did was I went ahead and made a table in this case. Went ahead and plugged all these different numbers in, different x values. And notice how I have my parabola here. And it starts at -4 and works its way up. Why -4? Because -4 is right here. Quick break. And back. Works the same for a negative parabola as well. -2x squared plus 6 equals 0. Again, you can do it any way you want. I'm going to do A, B, C. A is -2, B is 0, C is 6. -b over 2a, -0 over 2 times -2. Still 0 over -4, but that still makes 0. So my axis, once again, is 0. So that's the middle point, is at the x value of 0. Plug in that x value of 0 right here. So I put in 0. 0 squared is 0, times -2 is 0, so plus 6, so y equals 6. So now I know that my vertex is at 0, 6, like this. I also know that -2x squared means it's going to go down pretty quickly. So from 6 up, it's going to start heading downwards. 0 is used, so let's go ahead one forward and one backwards. So from 0, let's go to -1 and +1. I'm going to go ahead and plug those values in. Here's +1. 1 squared is 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. Negative 2 plus 6 is 4. So my y value is going to be 4. So when I'm 1 over, I'm 4 up. Which means when I'm left 1, I'm going to be 4 up because it's going to reflect off each other. And there's your basic idea. Finally, aquatics application. A dolphin jumps out of the water. The quadratic function y equals negative x squared plus 20x models the dolphin's height above the water after x seconds. About how long is the dolphin out of the water? Now, the first thing we have to look at, let's remember that when the dolphin leaves the water, the height is 0. In other words, if this is the water, when the dolphin's first breaking out of the water, the dolphin's technically at sea level. He's at 0. He or she hasn't jumped up yet, or it hasn't jumped up yet to start its dive. So it first starts the jump. Then, as it re-enters the water, the height is 0 as well. So you start at 0, and you're going to end at 0. So those are your two different y values. You're going to hit the water on the way up and hit the water on the way down. So the model is also a parabola. Y equals negative 16x squared plus 20x. Now the height at 0 seconds is y equals 0 because again it hasn't left the water yet. The height at 1 second when I plug it in, 1 squared is 1 times negative 16 and then 1 times 20 here. And I get a y value 4. So at 1 second is airborne at 4 feet in the air. Now the height at 2 seconds, when I plug it in, wait a minute, I have a problem. When I plug in 2 seconds, put the 2 here and the 2 here, I get y equals negative 24. Well, how can that be? How can it be at negative 24? Because when I remember when it said it was going up for 1 second, it actually wasn't going up, it was already going down. And 2 seconds would have put it below the water. So it must have already crested before 1 second, and then at 2 seconds it would have had gone deeper underwater. Well, that's fine, but we need some tools to answer two questions. Number one, how long did the dolphin stay in the air, and how high did it climb above the water? First, take ABC. So A is negative 16, B is 20, there is no C. Why no C? Because again, it's not above or below the water, it's right at the water. So negative B over 2A, negative 20 over 2 times negative 16. Negative 20 over negative 32, go ahead and reduce, I get 5/8, which is 0.625. So when that dolphin's going up at 0.625 seconds, it's at the top. It's at the top of the jump. So at 0.625 seconds, the dolphin is in the middle of the parabola, which is also the high point, as you can see here. How high? Plug in the 0.625. Plug in 0.625 here, square, times negative 16, and plug in 0.625 times 20 here. I'll save you all the algebra. I did it for you already. This, and this, this, and this, this, and this. So it's going to be cresting at 6.25 feet in the air at 0.625 seconds out of the water. Enough to leap over a person standing on a raft, as long as that person's, not more than 6.2 feet tall. What's its total air time? Since it's 0.625 on the way up, it's 0.625 on the way down. You simply double it, so it's 1.25 seconds in the air total. So here's the dolphin. Here's the dolphin on the way up, at 0.625 seconds, at 6.25 feet in the air, and on the way down, splash at 1.25. And we're done. Quick lesson. We'll do some more in class. Thanks again. Bye.